Good morning. Let us know if you can hear us loud and clear out there. We're going to do a Q&A panel and presentation today. A little one on Loxodont that we made. Yeah, we've seen him in action now. A little bit at Genesis, and of course, a lot of it in the dev tournament last weekend. But we haven't really got to break down his moves so much. At least like all the little nitty gritty details. And we also have some cool stuff today, like, on concept to actual completion with Trevor here in the yellow shirt, the lead programmer for Rivals. And of course, Dan above, the studio lead, to bring you guys all kinds of behind the scenes insight. So yeah, take it away.
Let's do it. Yes.
Yeah, get hype.
Loxodont is an elephant. That's my
little known
contribution.
fact.
Any other
I'm gonna let Trevor handle the rest. No, just kidding.
Well, this was a double header trailer, so before we get into Loxodont, we did have one slide about Claren. Just, there's other Claren fans, and she was literally half the trailer, but she's not going to be half of this stream.
And there's Claren fans. Are you sure about that?
Yeah, we can take a while on this one slide. We can make it half the stream.
I've never met one. I mean, I feel like SBS was a Claren fan, but last I checked, he was playing Raster in Rivals 1, so I don't know anymore. I think everyone was just they were excited about the elephant, if I recall. But yeah, Trevor, talk about this neutral special.
It's really cool. It's like a little sheath slash, even though she doesn't have a sheath. It starts off as like a little short range combo tool that if you tipper it could lead to whatever you want, pretty much. But if you charge it, it gets longer. And then if you charge it more, it gets even longer. And then if you charge it all the way, which is like, I think 5 whole seconds, it shoots a giant laser beam across the stage that kills everybody. Great in doubles. Love it.
Yeah, we actually saw that in the trailer, where that is like a real thing. That was not just like for the trailer. So she can charge like all the way and just cover the whole screen.
Yeah.
But
it's not particularly useful in like a 1v1 because they'll see you charging for 5 seconds. But every once in a while you get somebody with it. It'll be funny.
Yeah, it's pretty good doubles. And 1v1, I'll say like the times you get it is when it's like someone who's a little bit harder to sweet spot ledge, like especially at the fleet when you're just starting fleet. You can pop above ledge a lot, so you could get her with the laser if she like after knocking her off stage. So one thing I'll say about this move behind the scenes is for the longest time, until we actually started building Claren, it was sitting on a different neutral special because we knew we weren't going to do a command grab for her. And that's because if you go play Rivals, of all like the moves that were going to get updated, her neutral special was basically already like a throw, like just like a regular throw. And in Abyss mode, we even had up and down direction, so it was basically like a throw already. So one thing we did is the special pummel is a nod to that grab, the OG grab, where she grabs you really high up. If you look at the bottom clip on this, you can see her do the special pummel where she lifts you up, lifts the opponent up in the air and electrifies them. And that causes your next throw to be a guaranteed tipper, which is a lot of fun. So for a bit, it was definitely a Dan move that was sitting in there, which was like a stance change for a little. So you do the neutral special, she did a little spin, and then she was going to have different tilts. And I think it was actually 4 different attacks. It was going to be the tilts, up, down, forward, and then a new dash attack. And then the idea was as soon as she did those, she went back to her normal stance. So almost like a southpaw switch. Maybe she switched hands or something. I forget what we were going through.
How far back was this?
This was honestly it sat like that in the design doc for right until Trevor was starting to build her. And the biggest reason that Trevor decided not to, which made sense to me, was it feels like something you would do on a different character. Like it felt like you should just make a sortie that was a stance character.
It's just a much bigger mechanic. Yeah.
Yeah, because there was a lot of new animations. It was a new walk because we were gonna have her change stance and be stuck in that walk until you did an attack. Um, yeah, it was a lot of things.
Hmm. Yeah, it was like a playstyle defining move.
Yeah, for sure. Especially if the tilts were good, which they were gonna be because they're different. Even if they're not good, they were just gonna supposed to be like different hitboxes, right? So like up tilt was gonna be not completely wide coverage, um, like her current up tilt. I think it was frontal. It was like a front facing up tilt. Um,
I don't
so
remember.
yeah, I still think it would have been uh it could be neat as like a definitely as a character, but I do think making it a defining character mechanic is a lot better than trying to put it on one special on a character that's already got all of their gameplay sorted out.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes
Yeah.
sense.
And it was also gonna be a lot of work. I think that was the other big thing too. When we were coming into Clarion, the project had already gotten a lot of stuff. So I think Trevor looked at this and saw like 10, 11 animations, maybe separate animations, and was like, what?
Yeah.
No. So yeah, the what was the Guilty Gear guy? It's
Leo.
yeah, Leo with the cross that we were like kind of inspired by. So I think like that kind of stance changing is something that we definitely will want to try to experiment in the future. But yeah, not something that we should probably throw on last minute to a character who has an identity.
He's already a
Um,
full-fledged character.
right.
Hmm.
Yeah. Well, I
Now
guess
this one, Trevor, what was the kind of inspiration on because this is another is this I mean, were you also inspired by Guilty Gear for the slash?
No, so it does look like Johnny's move, but I didn't really know Johnny that much back then. So this is
Okay.
really just like anime sheath sword slash.
Right.
I don't think it was trying to remember. I don't think it was. Because I
I
definitely
got
didn't know Johnny back then.
what was it? Missed
Mistfinder?
yeah, I saw that
Yeah.
from doing the work reviewing the workshop contest on Badra, and I was like, this looks like Clarence move. But that was a
Yeah,
coincidence.
that happens sometimes. I remember there was a workshop character who had Fleet's down special too. The one where she like dodges and shoots an arrow. It was
Yes.
I think it was Leica.
Hmm.
Yeah. Had
And
no idea.
you saw that after. I
Yeah.
had played Leica, but I had forgotten that movie existed until
Hmm.
we played Leica again.
Yeah, maybe it subconsciously found its way there.
Well, that's the other funny thing too. So Trevor and I have played a good amount of workshop characters over the years now. For
Mhm.
we did reviews for the first floor, and we're doing the contest. But there's also a lot that we haven't played. But there's so many mechanics in workshop that like anytime we do something new now, you're gonna be able to find something similar in the workshop.
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
it might be something we see to we'll say we were inspired by it, but it also might just be something that we never saw. And it's just coincidence.
Hmm.
all right.
Cool.
Well,
Yeah.
this stream is actually about Loxodont, and he's already upset as the Emperor that we've spent so long on Clarin. His enemy, his sworn enemy. So I'm gonna move on. That is cool.
Yeah.
About the neutral special, we do have like a lot of her other move set is very similar, right? So that's kind of why we just originally in this presentation we were like, hey, it's Clarin, Clarin. But yeah, all right, moving on to Loxodont. The people are here for.
Hmm. Yeah. Loxodont, he was in Rivals 1. And people don't know that because they didn't play story mode, but he was there.
I was gonna say you could see him in the back. Well, you can't see my mouse, but behind is that him behind Zetterburn in that photo, right?
I
Hmm.
would say of the people who play story mode, he's probably one of the most likely you saw. So I think a lot of people probably only played Zetterburn and Crag story modes. So they would have seen him because he was in Zetterburn's.
He's also the principal in Lovers of Aether, a famous game, and he's in Claren's trailer. So yeah, we have all this
Mhm.
spots where he's a new character, but he's not new to the world, obviously. I
Yeah.
think we were all really excited, or at least I was personally, like to do a villain type character, especially a lot of people will argue that Eliana is a villain as well, and sure she is, but it's a different type of villain, right? Like a
He's just misunderstood.
Yeah. I think all the rivals, because like the villain pack was Sylvanos and Eliana. And Loxodont, we haven't seen too much of his story and from his perspective. But I
Mhm.
think all of our villains have a similar arc where if you like them, then you could follow their side. And Loxodon to me is kind of like an ends justify the means, kind of like Machiavelli person where he cares more about the Fire Emperor than like how and doesn't agree with how it was being run under Renburn, right? So that's like part of his motivation. So he's like the only way that this is gonna work is if I take control. So obviously from Clarence's perspective, he's very evil, and he is definitely a villain in that regard. So if you like playing villains, he's a villain. But I think one thing that we could see if the lore is going to change going forward is you'll get to see a little bit more his motivations and um, maybe just like Eliana, right? Where I think Eliana, we're treating her like a villain because she wants to kill everyone in the Air Armada. Um, she's a little justified, Eliana. So maybe Loxodont will get some more of that, where it's like not only is he just a little less one dimensional than we've seen him so far, um, but he's still the character that has become the endless emperor in Clarence time.
Aether a little murder is okay. So it doesn't make you bad. It doesn't make you a bad guy,
Throw on
No.
the box art for the game.
They're just falling off stage, George. Okay, there's no murder. All right, there's just a little. They just get knocked out.
They get knocked out, right? Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
It's a special kind of concussion though, where it doesn't make you more susceptible. So they can just keep doing it forever.
It's actually good for you. Yeah.
Yeah, it's good. It's good. It's like working out.
I flipped to the next slide, the gameplay overview. Obviously, Loxodon is huge. And if you've seen the tournament last week, you might have noticed, but he's not he's like kind of floaty. So yeah, he's not a big, heavy like fast faller. He's actually got a lot of air control, and he's
the opposite of Crag. Yeah,
huge aerials. Yeah. Go into that for me.
Yeah, because Crag is made of rock, so he's really heavy. Loxodon is full of air, so he's very light.
Why is he full of air?
That's just how elephants work.
Okay.
Little known fact, yeah. But yeah, he plays very differently because he's more of a zoner with his extended range. Not a lot of characters can really contest him if he's swinging in their direction.
Is this concept art? We're gonna see a lot of this on the upcoming slides. Is that your drawings actually?
Yeah,
nice.
Yeah, I drew this.
Okay, nice.
I love drawing the little concept arts for the characters because I get to make them look a little goofy.
Yeah, these are.
Yeah, one thing design wise too about these characters, like with Loxodon, is so up until Daedalus, all of the characters and movesets were Dan characters. And then once we started Ori, I had given Trevor a document with some special moves. And then I said, I don't know what I want this character to be. Here you go. Trevor did all the normals. And that was the first character. So if you notice, Trevor is a big Cat and Falcon fan. And Ori was the first character. So you might see some similarities on some Ori normals.
Yeah.
But one, Trevor did such a good job. And two, that's kind of where Trevor is better than me, is like the actual, like the normals and the hitboxes and making sure characters have different, they're designed to fit their goal. Whereas when I did normals on the first 8, almost every character, when I came to the next attack, I was like, what would be cool? Like I had no semblance of like, this needs to sit, like this fair works with this up air. I would just make it first. And then if it was weird, I would tweak it. So that's how we ended up with like, Maple and Daedalus with like these weird aerials that like multiple weird aerials on someone like Daedalus with the forward air and the up air. But then going forward,
I thought I did Daedalus up air though.
You might have. I mean, a lot of the
doing that.
It's a long
a
time
lot
ago
of the
now.
characters,
Mhm.
I think he did have a dunk from the beginning, like a grab above you. Like he always had, it was gonna spike you down.
Mhm.
I don't know exactly how it was gonna supposed to look or work. Um, but anyway, so then going forward, Trevor started doing normal. So even on then the next two, Claren, uh, Rano, Trevor was a lot more involved on the character designs, even the specials. Sylvanos and Eliana were pretty similar to Ori, where I already had some stuff,
Mhm.
but Trevor still did the normals. And then going into Rivals 2 uh, is unique in that Fleet and Loxodont are basically like 90% Trevor characters.
Trying to
Um,
think. Yeah, they have some core mechanics like Loxodon's lava, which I think is one of the next slides.
Yeah, so let's go to the next one. But
Yeah.
Lockdown was interesting because so Fleet was, I would say, 90% Trevor, and you even already had the core in your design. And then Loxodont was also 90% you, but we didn't quite have like what his rival Z mechanic was going to be. So I think I had done that. But the
Mhm.
also original idea shifted once we got him playable. Because the
Yeah.
original idea was the floor is lava, don't stand on lava.
And the
Uh,
original idea, even before that one, was he had a counter, and that was the only way to get your molten charge up.
Oh, yeah. But that was like Incineroar, and we were like, "Hmm,
I know, and Incineroar wasn't out yet. I was so mad when they revealed him. That's so
wait,
annoying.
Incineroar is from a while ago,
As
so
I say,
you
this
mean
is
this
like
one
had to be like six
this was
years ago or
I don't
something.
play. I don't play
just a
that game.
design doc that we were sitting on for lava?"
Mhm.
Um,
Yeah, that was funny.
yeah, so the one that we implemented though was you what was it? It like when it activated, then it had a hitbox, and then it had to hit them, and then after it hit them, then you could go absorb it.
Yeah, it was very complicated.
What? It was so complicated to play against because it was like you were just confused as to when it could hit, but it couldn't hit right away because then these moves were just like insane, right? Like the forward special where you just leave a bunch. Um, so then once we were like, no one knows how to get charge, we were like, okay, let's think about what we want to do. And one thing we realized is that the game has all these stage mechanics that you're supposed to avoid. There's fire, puddles, plants, grass from Sylvanos, ice from Edelus because he's going to down B it. So like just in general, like Rivals has almost all the stage control is like don't stand on it. So we were like, okay, well Loxodon's lava character. If the floor is lava, what if he wants to stand on it? Um, and that's how we came upon how it works now with the molten charges.
Yeah, I remember it took a while to get to that too.
Yeah.
He used to have no limit to how much lava he could put on the stage. That was
Yeah.
a little good.
So how does the lava work? Explain it to us, Trevor.
So basically, you put a lava down with, I think, all of his specials, almost all of his specials, not
Except
down B,
except
not
down
Down
get
B.
up
down
special.
tilt does it?
Yeah, down tilt also does it. So you put lava on the ground. It takes like I think a second or two to activate, and then once it's active, if Loxodont stands on it, he gets a molten charge. If somebody else stands on it, it goes out, and Loxodont can't use it anymore. Um, and
Right.
then once you have your molten charges, you can do stuff with them. Like strong attacks. And if you do a strong attack, you look in these little videos right here. There's some lava trails getting left behind, and those are basically just extending the active frames of the strong attack, so that if you miss, sometimes you can hit.
Yes. And one fun recent nerf to Loxodon, because these things have been insane, is now the attacks have more like sours and strong spots than they used to have. Like instead of being a lot of Rivals 1 attacks, the strong attacks are just full power, the whole hitbox.
Hmm.
But now they have more sweets and sours. So in 4 strong, you want to hit in the front. And then the extended attacks also follow the same, sweet
Yeah.
and sour logic. So hitting the back is still a strong attack, but it's not going to kill as early as hitting the front of forward
Hmm.
strong, which I think is helpful and still keeps the idea of extending the hitboxes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We did get to talk about that on stream because luckily, like I said, it was like Loxodonapalooza last week, so we talked about the charges and we got to see We didn't get to see as many of his down B. I'm not sure if it's a slide for that. Maybe we'll talk about that more in detail.
There is.
Okay,
Yes.
cool. I couldn't remember. But
All right, Trevor, take this one away because this is a Trevor.
Oh, this is my favorite. So this
This is a
actually
great
wasn't
move.
in the original Loxodont design doc. This was added after he was already implemented in game. Remember, it was originally going to be like little lava spouts that shoot up out of the ground whenever you use this.
Really?
Yeah, I have the pictures for it
When did
still.
this become? When did it become the meatball?
Because I implemented the other version, I was like, this sucks. This is really bad.
I thought you had this from the get-go. That's crazy.
And then I was like, what if you just like threw a little rock and you could hit it around like volleyball?
The best part is I called it Molten Boulder for like 5 minutes on the dev stream, and then like everyone, we just started calling it Meatball immediately. And that's the first thing Dan said too. So it's just the
Yeah.
meatball.
That's what it's called.
It's the
Sorry.
meatball.
It's a spicy meatball, and then as you charge it up, it gets spicier,
Mm-hmm.
which does more damage
Mm-hmm.
and more knockback. So fully charged and neutral special, you can actually KO with that.
Yeah, and if you don't charge it, but then you hit it, every time you hit it, it gains a 10th of a charge. So if you hit it 10 times between each other, it's now a fully charged meatball. And it's going to be really funny when one of you misses.
Yeah, mini game.
Mm-hmm.
You can also angle it and aim it like pretty well. You could do things too with it. That's fun that we did see like in the tournament where you can lob a little one up, and then if you're standing on the edge, you can use your down tilt to like stomp it down, send it not just like in the regular arc, but hit it around. So it's actually like a really a move that's really fun to be like creative with.
Yeah, and it's very risky to throw out still, because if the opponent hits it into you, you just wasted your projectile and are now getting comboed.
Yeah, it's just becomes their projectile. It's
And
definitely...
I think that's what helps it not be overpowered, because it's a very good projectile.
I will say I think Maple has a really positive matchup on Loxodont, and this move is another piece of why, because as soon as you see Loxodont start using it, you can just go in and dash attack Loxodont, because the move goes up and Maple's low profile. So you could just run it as soon as you see him starting to do it.
Mm-hmm.
She's sneaky.
Yeah, what else? Oh, we also added so whenever the meatball hits the ground, you can see it does a little bounce before it pops. And that's so that Loxodont has time to hit it. Like say he's right underneath the platform, like in this video. It won't just pop and he misses it. It gives him a little bit of leniency with how he can hit it. It's really nice.
When we first implemented it, it
more
was
fun.
like a lot of times right when you thought you were hitting it, it was popping. So we needed a solution so you could hit it close to the ground.
Yeah, that's a great change. Okay, next special, Stampede. I remember when we were naming all these?
Yeah.
We had we got
Trevor, what attack is Stampede? Do you remember?
Yeah,
it's the forward special.
All right, cool.
Yeah.
And this is a pretty standard like running command grab type move. It leaves a big pool of lava, which can be a good thing or a bad thing. It means you have more chances to pick it up, but your opponent also has more chances to step on it. So,
one thing I will add is that after we added the lava to the game, we had to make logic for what the tie situation is. So we said that Loxodont gets it if he's standing on it. Opponent removes it if they're standing on it. So if you're both standing on it, nothing happens. It won't activate or deactivate until someone leaves it. But being in a defensive state or being in a hit stun state doesn't count as standing on it. Well, not all defensive states, but being in shield or being in a hit stun, so being in tech or knockdown, doesn't count. So if you're both standing on it and one of you shield, then the other one triggers. So if Loxodon's shield because they're scared of getting hit, then Claren would remove it here. And if Claren shielded, then Loxodon would absorb it. So there is a little fight over it if you're like both standing on it when it first turns on.
Yeah, it's cool.
Yeah.
And then this move, basically, it's just a downward throw once you get grabbed, which off stage can be pretty crazy. So edge guarding this move, while it looks pretty simple, and once you get good at it, it will be very simple. But when you're first starting to learn the timing for it, you're gonna get grabbed, and you're probably gonna die a lot to this move. But
Yeah, in the trailer, we show one into down air too at lower percent because it can combo, and that's pretty terrifying.
mhm.
It still happens. Yeah. It's just
Yeah, it
good,
does.
even by accident, because Loxodont wants to use it to recover since he can still wall jump out of it. So
Mhm.
it's kind of an unofficial rule. Maybe is it official? You guys could tell me at this point. But like, if a move is going sideways, horizontal, normally you can wall jump out of it.
Mhm.
If it's
Generally,
like an
yeah.
up B recovery, that's normally not true. So
Yeah.
so this is kind of free for Loxodont to stall off stage or do whatever it want impair his recovery at all, and you might just grab someone.
Yeah, I think
But
the only recovery special that's not up that you can't wall jump out of currently is Raster neutral special.
but
That
that
makes
can go
sense
up.
because that gives you so much height and
Well,
it
that's
goes
the
up.
only non.
Yeah.
Sorry, the only non-up input one that you can't
Oh,
wall jump out of.
All right.
there's
That
a
makes
few.
sense.
What else?
Zetterburn's normal down B, you can't for a while. Like you have to fall
Right.
really far.
That's true. We could
There's
change that.
probably there's probably plenty. I know Raster's down B can't.
Wait, these are all down
Yeah.
moves.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Raster down B can't at all.
Mm. No, just you can jump after it's over.
Right.
Raster needs it. Let's buff him.
But another thing about this move, so unlike in Smash, if a hitbox and a grab box trade, the hitbox will win in Rivals, whereas in Smash, a grab would win just because of grab armor. We don't have that, luckily, so you can go edge guard this move without worrying about getting, unfairly sent into the bottom blast zone.
Yeah, and someone asked, does it hit through shield? Because it's a grab, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
it does.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
Rano's tongue works that way as well.
Mhm.
Also, on stage on this clip, it's very much like Hodon up strong or Maple down throw, where it's kind of just like a knowledge check because it's very easy to wall tech it. But on this specific stage, you lose that ability, so you get some cheese if you want to play Loxodont. Maple gets similar cheese, except
Yeah.
Maple's kills really late, like 120 is when the down throw starts killing. But still a good way to finish someone off on this stage.
We saw Tomo
Hashtag
was a big fan of this move in the
don't
tournament
ban it.
last week. And it's a good way to kind of like sneak in, even though it's not crazy fast. If you're kind of keeping them away with your forward tilts and stuff, you just suddenly charge when they're shielding and grab right through their shield. So
Yeah, short hop into this is really good. I was playing Juice at Genesis, and he kept short hop going over Maple's down tilt and still grabbing me. And I was like, man, I don't like that.
all right, let's
That's
talk
my
about
favorite move.
his up special, the Sky Scorcher. He could jump
Forgot
for
about
like
the name.
a big guy.
Oh, yeah.
He gets up there.
Like I said, he's full of air.
Okay, yeah, I forgot that's the lore now. This move
Yeah,
reminds
yeah.
me of Shovel Knight from Rivals, or obviously other like weapon based characters.
Trying to think. Somebody at Genesis told me it's one of the ult characters of B. I think it was Pyramithra, maybe?
I feel like a lot of them have an up and then down sort of
Mhm.
attack too. Like I'm gonna say the wrong character.
I mean,
so
it
I'm not
feels
gonna
most
say
like
one.
Ike to me
Mhm.
in terms of practice,
Yeah.
or like Brawl Ike, because I don't know if Brawl Ike's ever killed. Pyramithra, doesn't the uppy like kill? Like that's I feel like a pretty if it kills or not is like a big part of how the move feels to use.
Mhm.
I think
Yeah.
Ike could spike too. Oh yeah, Kirby. Someone mentioned in the chat. Yeah,
Yeah.
obviously Kirby.
Oh,
I forgot. But
yeah, speaking of Kirby, this move used to have a special interaction with lava, where if you landed on lava with it, it would shoot a little projectile forward like Kirby's.
Mm-hmm.
We took that out real quick.
wait, the connection is becoming clearer. Kirby is full of air. Kirby's up B is the same. Yeah. Never mind. Yeah,
Kirby's a villain.
yeah. Kirby's a villain, right?
Yep. Cannibal.
This move though, is Loxodont a cannibal? I was gonna
Let's
just
not worry
move
about it right
past
now.
that, but then I was like,
I just bet Kirby is. You know, we haven't revealed all the lore for Loxodont, so you never know.
oh god, it's too dark. Kirby is a much darker game than ours, so.
Oh yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, we don't want to get that dark.
This move, I think the main thing to say about it, besides what's on the bullet points, is that it goes very high. I think in general, in Rivals 2, you'll notice that the recoveries have a lot of vertical movement, even when you think you're like lower down the stage. I think Loxodont could recover from like almost all the way in the blast zone on this zone with his up B, right? Like
It's pretty close, yeah.
yeah, it goes quite high. So the thing is, this only gives you vertical movement. So
Yeah.
yeah.
It's also
hit that
really
dark
just
pretty hard.
it's hard to contest though. If you let him get to the wall, this move has a lot of disjoint and a lot of giant, strong hitboxes that you can't recover from. But there's like a moment when he's at the very top where he has no hitboxes and he's just frozen in space where you can punish him. I think that's what it's gonna eventually evolve into. People aren't like super good at it yet.
Yeah, it's fast right now and it looks scary with the axe, but people will figure it out.
Yeah, you have to not let him get to the wall. That's how you gimp him, because then if the side B can't get far enough forward to up B with ledge grab, then he just dies.
Yeah, he's in big trouble then. Now we're getting a bunch of Kirby lore in the chat. Kirby is
the best lore
of the god of destruction. See, Loxodon's small stakes compared to Kirby. We'll just
Yeah. He's just a politician, he's not trying to take over the world.
He's not trying to eat people either.
Yeah.
All right, this move is there's just so much you can do with this move. Trevor, you should talk about Eruption, his down special.
So it does nothing. So you press it, he just emits a little cloud of smoke, nothing happens. Until you step on some lava, get a molten charge. Then it's a very fast burst movement option with the hitbox that launches opponents in the same direction that you're moving, and is attack cancelable like almost instantly. So it's very versatile. The more molten charge you have, the farther it launches them. It's just really good. It's also just a good recovery move too, because you can get a lot of height with this attack to cover anybody who's trying to gimp you up. It's just a versatile move. But it does use all of your hard-earned molten charge that you've been saving up.
Yeah, whereas the strong attacks only use one charge each strong attack you do.
Yeah. There is a little bit of a finesse you have to use this move correctly, because sometimes you'll launch the opponent and then just whiff your next attack, so you get nothing out of it. But usually there's enough time for you to just watch them and see where they're going.
Yeah, it really just leaves the door open to you, because I can't really think of a move like this that I see people comparing it to like Waft in the chat, but Waft is kind of more like rest in my eyes. It just like kills you, right? Like this move does not try to kill you. It like sends you in this little graceful arc, and then it's up to Loxodont like what to do next. So yeah, this is very different. You can like drag people from places. You can surprise them with it, put him
one
in
of the
weird
funniest
scenarios.
ways I've seen it used is Loxodont's recovering and somebody's trying to go out and get him, and then he uses it backwards, back towards the blast zone to launch them over there, and then just kill them at 0%.
That's awesome.
I think somebody hit Kells with that one time in tournament, and it was very funny.
Did the Loxodont still live?
Yeah. It was just spaced to where he wouldn't die.
Right, that's terrifying.
It was really funny.
But yeah, so this move won't kill you by itself normally, but it definitely sets you up, like you can see in this clip right here. That's the ideal movement. The ideal opponent in bracket too. The Rana's just standing there.
And doesn't DI the move at all. Yeah,
but I do love doing this, like you spot dodge or something, and then you do this. Like it just changes the whole game.
Yeah. It's pretty fast. It's not like the fastest.
Or at ledge, you can catch recoveries with it because it reaches a little down. It's like a big circle. One thing I will say is like the pro strat, where you see like people who played Loxodon a bit, they do a neutral special after this because most times that will kill the earliest. The only time something would kill earlier is when you're close to the blast zone here, like this forward air, or you're close to the other side and you can back air.
Yeah,
But
it's
otherwise, I think
funny.
neutral special is going to kill the
I
earliest.
never even really thought about using Neutral Special after this until we were recording footage for the trailer. And I was like, what would kill here? And I just started pressing Neutral Special and it just worked. I was like, oh,
Right,
that worked out.
especially because you have to finish that hop, so usually your arrow late like, using your aerial late, whereas neutral special, you could be charging it that whole time and then just, like, let it
When
go
I
at
saw
them.
that clip for the trailer, I was like, "Oh my god, it's so
Yeah,
cool!"
it's pretty
Yeah, I was
sick.
shocked it worked.
Yeah. All right. I didn't count. I should have counted how many slides there are before I started because we're trying to fit in this whole thing in the hour and maybe have time for Q&A. So I'll try to
Do it.
get through a little quicker. This is the disruption, the get up special. Another thing that utilizes his charges. Trevor,
Mhm.
you have anything to say
Yeah,
about this?
it's pretty similar to Down Special in that if you use it with no charges, it does nothing pretty much. But if you do have a charge, it only uses one of them. It doesn't use all three like Down Special. But it's this just giant, huge get up attack that covers above him really high onto his sides far. Like it's just very strong. But it does use your hard earned cash. It's good though.
Alright, so I got the first kill with this in a com like, in a just a friendly match that because Loxodont had not been a new character at that point, but
I've
the way
never
I
seen this
got it
kill.
was I was marked by Fleet's bow. So I did this and it popped them up, and then Fleet passive finished them off. But later, playing with Gabe and Jamie on our team, I forget who got it, but somebody was Loxodon. They got knocked down on a pillar off stage. And they used this and they killed like two people with it. Killed them off the side of the blast zone, like just the move itself. And I was like, we were all just like, oh my gosh. Um, so yeah, this move can kill. It's just like it's not gonna kill from center stage, obviously, but it's one of the few get up attacks that you could actually KO people with.
Mhm.
It's fun. It's funny. On the top platform, on like rock wall or something, you could probably kill someone like Raster with this. Honestly,
Maybe.
they DI in. Especially if
This
they die.
is my favorite ledge special in the game. Oh,
Oh yeah, I'll flip back. Sorry. All right,
yeah, yeah.
I'm back to the ledge.
Yeah,
Special.
that's pretty much it for get up special. It's not much else about it. This ledge special though has the highest range of any ledge special, I think.
Yeah.
And
It's so
it's
satisfying because
disjointed.
it's you just
Yeah.
get all the way on stage and you're like, I'm safe.
Mhm.
As Maple, I love this move both using it and playing against it. Because
Mhm.
using it, it's a fun ledge special that's got the range as Trevor mentioned. Playing against it, oh my gosh, as Maple, you just dash dance in and like Loxodonts, especially when they're first learning the character, they cannot help themselves from hitting the B button at ledge because they know how far it goes. So all you do is you run back out of range because you're Maple, and then you just sit where this ends, which is usually center stage on most stages, and then you can do whatever you want. You can forward
Mhm.
strong, you can down strong. Um, so certain characters are going to bait you into using this. Um, so yeah, you're going to want to mix it in with your ledge options, but it is so fast and so far, so it's still good to use, I think.
Mm. Yeah, it's very telegraphed is the only problem with it. It's, you can just shield it and get a full punish.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah,
that's how a lot of the ledge specials are though. They have like a lot of cool utility and different places they put you in, but yeah, they're definitely something to mix in.
yeah. Katie on our team did all the animation for Loxodon, and she freaking crushed. Like I just love all of his animations, but this one in particular, the first time I saw it, I was like, dang, this attack is like way cooler than like I thought it was gonna be. It's like
Mhm.
so cool. He's like spinning basically, like kind of like a little helicopter elephant. But somehow it's still cool. Like if you go step through this frame by frame, you're like, what the heck is he doing? But it looks like, yeah, it just looks really stylish.
Mhm.
Nice. All right, I forgot we called this move the pummel special. We wrote
The best name.
past versions of ourselves wrote slag drag. We thought that was a good name.
It is. It's the best name. I think Dan came up with that one. It's so good.
Mhm. Well, we were looking at different words for like lava, and then The slag, I forget exactly what it means, but it's
Slag
something
is
to
like the material like excess like runoff I think from like processing metal like
sure.
yeah yeah or heat
And
Oh, it's so good.
yeah yeah
It's a pretty
yeah,
good pommel special though too, just because it puts that lava under you, and then you can down throw, and down throw on lava it pops people up. So down throw is Loxodon's worst throw normally. It's just throws them on the ground, and they can choose a tech option, and it has too much end lag for him to really get anything off of it. Um, but when there's lava under you, it's probably his best throw. So this is basically just unlocking that super throw for free.
yeah, this throw is terrifying. Do not DI it in. DI in is 100% death if he's on lava.
yeah we had one
Yeah.
of these clips in the trailer and people even noticed then that like oh hey does it bounce them when they hit the thing and I was like people have good eye for detail because yes
Mm-hmm.
that is how this
Yeah,
mechanic works.
you can do it without down
Mm-hmm.
special pummel, or sorry, with special pummel, but like the way you do that is like a really newly formed lava pool, right? So if you grab someone, like let's say you just did down tilt and then you grab someone, you can still throw them off that because there's even after it gets absorbed, it lingers for a little bit of time, and that lingering time is specifically for this moves mechanic where you can down throw.
Mm-hmm.
Because otherwise,
Also,
the only way to do it would have been with special pummel.
yeah. It's also one of the most brutal animations in the game, I think.
Yeah,
It just
dragging their
takes the opponent,
face
drags their face on the ground.
through the lava.
Ugh.
Yeah,
Yeah,
someone
it's pretty
asked if this synergizes with other throws, or rather, like if other throws synergize with lava, and no, this one specifically, just since the animation and like the idea involves the ground and the lava pools are on the ground, it's the only one.
good.
Mhm.
Forward throw
Also,
is unique though, Trevor. If you want to talk about that,
yeah, his forward throw is cool. It's he tosses you up and then swings his axe like a baseball bat at you. And the big mechanic behind it is you can DI the initial hit, like the initial toss. So if you DI it out, he's gonna hit you with the tip of the axe, and it's gonna kill it like 120 or something. It's a pretty strong kill throw. But if you DI it in, it's a sour spot. Won't kill for a long time. So it's even though it's a really slow attack, the initial toss is fast enough that you get a good DI mix up out of it.
It's really satisfying to just bat somebody off stage. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah,
Trevor's a genius. I was
yeah,
yeah. When you put that in, I was like, yo, that's sick.
it worked.
So I flipped us to
It's funny.
the last slide.
My favorite slide.
Yeah, this is just really about like his personality and his physical attributes and
I went to the zoo recently, and they had baby elephants there, and this slide is correct. They are still really big.
yeah yeah
They're like 6, 7 feet tall
that's
as
what we're saying.
babies.
Thank you. Everything we've said today has been correct, and that proves it. The zoo backs us
Yeah.
up.
We were doing research. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Mhm.
Um, yeah. Part of this slide will have been written by Loxodont. Maybe just the first bullet point, like don't do it.
We
Otherwise,
could talk.
he doesn't hate you.
We could talk about his matchups a little bit because I think even though he's very good, and as we saw in that dev bracket, definitely a strong character right now. He does have some polarizing matchups compared to other characters.
Mhm.
So, Trevor, who do you think he's good against Loxodont right now?
Um, it's hard to say because really it's just early meta heavy character. So
Hmm.
any character that he'd be good against probably would get worse over time. Um, but I mean he can outrange everybody. Um,
Right.
so really as long as he's being careful about it, he could do pretty good.
I'm like at a skill level that's
That's
not
a good
top,
spot.
where I think once you get to top, matchups change. It's like it really doesn't matter how good you are against Zetterburn. It's like how good are you against Cake Assault if you're playing Cake Zetterburn, right? That's what starts to matter. But at my level, it will. So if you're gonna be like competitive but not the best, I would say like right now, like Loxodon, I did like to play him against like someone like Raster or Clarin because both of those characters try to use range, but he's got more, so it can be hard for them to get in. especially Raster, where like normally Raster is really happy to like just hit you and combo you to death, but like the up tilt in particular. It kind of reminds me of like Shovel Knight in Rivals 1 versus Raster, where I mean, I think everyone in Rivals 1 hates playing against Raster, but there were some players who were like, yeah, you can go this matchup. So I think that's kind of fun. I do think, like I said, Maple is so good against because everything that Maple's good against, like the big hit hurt box and like being like I think right now she's stronger against floaties than she is against fast fallers, and like he has that. So I think Maple's good against him, but you still
Mhm.
just get the way the
Uh,
game works, you still just get destroyed. If you're not like if the person's even remotely like 10% better than you, then no matter what matchup it is, they're just gonna make it seem like it's broken the other direction.
Yeah,
Yeah,
listen,
it's funny
that's
because I think Clarin is one of his worst matchups too, just because she has the range and the speed, whereas
Yeah,
he just has the
yeah.
range.
I said
Yeah.
Claren, and then right after I said, I was like, wait a second, no, I think I like playing Claren against Loxo too, because you're right.
Hmm.
Having disjoint plus speed over him is really good.
Hmm. And
What do
she's
you
been
think?
training her whole life for this, so you know.
Yeah, we care
I
about the
saw the
lore when
trailer
it
and
comes to matchups.
he like beat her really badly,
It's true.
so we need to buff him.
What do you think about Crag Loxodont, Trevor? Because that's one that in the development team has been played a lot. That matchup.
What I like it. I as Crag, I like fighting against Loxodon just
You like
because
Loxodont?
yeah, Rock beats Molten Boulder.
Mm-hmm.
Rock is the like prime projectile. There's no other projectiles can beat it.
And what do you think about his range though when you're on Crag? Like Loxodon's like axe.
Yeah, it's a little annoying, but Crag's arms are basically a sword, so it makes up for it.
All right. Last one would be what about Xanderburn Loxo? How do you feel about that one?
That one's hard. It's so hard to get in on Loxodon just because Zetter's range is the smallest. But comboing Loxodon as Zetterburn is probably my favorite thing to do in the game. It's so fun because you can't miss.
Right.
It's
Dude,
great.
you need to get your Maple leveled up because I think
Yeah,
Maple's neutral's easier and her combo is just as good probably as Zetter's on
mhm,
Loxo.
yeah, I'd agree. That matchup's hard.
Sweet. So yeah, he's got his weaknesses for sure. I think the biggest one is yeah, speed once you're in his disadvantage is very bad. Being both a big and not being heavy means you can't get to the ground as quick as someone like Crag. Um, but it's the disjoint. The disjoint is what makes him like really good. So like if you're the type of player who's likes to play at that mid range and you can be patient at a mid range, you're not always just trying to go in and smack buttons. Uh, you're gonna love Loxodon, and he's also so good at covering platforms and tech chasing, especially on
And
platforms.
edge guarding.
Yeah, and edge guarding.
His
So
his edge guards are good. It's hard to get around a giant axe that's covering half of your available options.
Yeah, he's got
I think a lot of
two
people are
good
gonna like him at
spikes.
launch.
He's
Yeah.
yeah, good place for that. It's just, and even if you're worried about you're a big character, like you're gonna get comboed, you can be morally superior in that you're playing a low tier. Because if you're a big character, you can just you know you can always feel like you're being oppressed, even if you're overpowered. So Crags and Loxodons could rise up. It's fine.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah.
And anyone can
Sorry.
get comboed in this game. Like Maple is one of the characters that gets comboed the hardest, and she's like small and dies at like 70. So like anyone can get combo. Don't worry about it. Just if you survive your combo, then that means they're letting you win. Just you kill them on your next combo.
All right, we're gonna end it here with some of the awesome splash art from concept artist Mark, and take a few questions. Not a ton because we have a very busy day, but yeah, we'll take some questions and then we'll post this on YouTube. And if you guys add any comments or stuff, maybe we can answer a few more questions in the comments there too.
Somebody says, "Are there a set amount of angles for neutral special?" Yeah. Well, no, not really. It's there's a default angle and then it has a maximum angle change. It basically you just DI angles to change it. You can hold backwards or up to send it straight up, and if you hold down or forward, it'll send it forward.
Someone asked, "Can we have this art?" Yeah, I think we have maybe a version of this we can put in the press kit. Yes.
Somebody asked, does the lava hurt? No, the lava does not hurt when you step on it. It's just like real life.
Yeah, that honestly was an interesting. Like that was a discussion that came up in like early playtesting of this character a lot. We were
Mhm.
worried like, are people gonna think that it hurts them, and why would you want to get the lava? But it really hasn't been much of an issue in playing.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
don't you guys have shoes?
Loxodont famously does not wear shoes.
No, I just mean of players, right? They think it's gonna hurt them. Just wear your shoes. How much could lava? How hot is lava really? I don't know. I'm not a forensic paleontologist, archaeologist, lava
Lavologist.
doctor, lavagist. I'm not a lavagist. Okay, it's not that hot. Don't worry about it.
Someone said,
Somebody says, yeah, go ahead.
"Oh, sorry. I was just say, will taunting in the air be in the game on release?" I don't think we have any plans to remove that, right?
Yeah, I think so.
We
Originally, it
kind
was
of
not
need it.
supposed to.
There's gonna be a
Um,
long beta phase. I'll just jump in. I won't take up too much time with this, but people have been asking what's gonna change. Like when can I give feedback? People have played it at some events and stuff. Basically, once we enter the beta, then we'll kind of have a little back and forth with some suggestions and some feedback, and then that's gonna last for a while. Like you know, at least 3 or 4 months or something before launch. Longer depends on when the beta comes out. So yeah, right now it's not really. It's hard to say like what's gonna stay and what's not, right? But like once we get into there, everything right now you can assume is in the game.
Yeah, I would say it's a very high chance of staying because we haven't done it yet, but there is a very high chance that I will eventually put a unique stage control on someone's getup special, and you're gonna have to. People are gonna be doing that in a match. They're
yeah.
gonna
The
have
only
to put
thing
themselves in knockdown.
It's also
I do,
hilarious.
I have a plan to make it to where you can't wall tech if you put yourself in tumble, though. Because right now,
Mm.
I'm theory crafting some ideas in my head where edge guarding might be a little silly if you can give yourself invincibility.
I think it
Man.
sounds great. I think it sounds really cool. Maybe it's just like a set time before you can.
Yeah, it's also I
You
think
kind
it's
of
a
fall for
free
a little
wall
bit.
jump. It's a free wall jump if you do that.
No, because isn't you'd only get one? Don't you only get one wall jump tech, or you get unlimited?
You can get as many as you want.
Oh well, then
Oh, I
yeah,
didn't actually
we need
realize
to
that
fix.
either.
Yeah, we'll need to
Yeah,
fix that then.
yeah,
Bad face.
exactly.
Wow, we didn't tell people before the next beta. Now everyone's gonna. Well, I guess you can fix it before the next beta, but everyone's gonna be
I mean,
like,
I need a clip of it
I mean, yeah, let's
first.
see it happen. That's the point of the beta.
I
Yeah,
thought you could only get one vertical jump, and then they're all just horizontal after that.
not if you're teching.
Ah, okay,
Yeah,
that's busted.
yeah, it's busted. Let's see.
Yeah, I'm going through chat again too.
Somebody says, can you still taunt on the respawn platform? Currently, no. But I would like to do that again. That was really fun.
You go into knockdown, which isn't useless on some characters.
Yeah, but you could still do that by just like pressing down
Move
first.
and then, okay, yeah, you're right. You
Yeah.
could do both. I love it on Raster because especially on doubles, you taunt off the respawn platform, fall in the center stage, and then use your big get
The
up
win.
special just at center stage.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's great. I love it.
Someone asked, "What do you guys think Loxodont's best doubles partner is?" We haven't played a ton of doubles.
Loxodont.
I've played lot of Loxodont doubles. He is so broken. It's so funny.
Yeah, he's good at
Just double
doubles.
Loxodont.
Honestly, it's just the big characters. Big characters are really good in doubles right
Yeah.
now. So Loxo Crag is probably crazy.
Yeah, it's very
The
similar to Rivals 1. We'll see if yeah, I don't think we're gonna do like like in League of Legends, they used to have like balance changes for like ARAM versus regular. I don't think we're gonna do anything like that where certain things happen in doubles, but right now we're seeing there are characters who are better and characters who are worse. Like I think Raster in Rivals 1 was always, playable but difficult. That's kind of the same where he just dies so early. Like a lot of his strengths are not as good in doubles.
yeah,
But Lockdown
he's still very
great.
good. Yeah, Loxodont can make a few mistakes and be fine.
Crag feels amazing in doubles.
Yep.
Maybe
Yeah.
it's still fine. Having that faster run speed honestly helps you out in doubles. You can hold stocks. But yeah, some characters are just harder.
Do you guys
Let's
see any
see.
maybe one or two good ones you want to answer? Couple more.
It's up to Trevor. I didn't open it.
Oh, you don't have it open?
That actually makes it way funnier. I thought you were reading the chat. Okay.
I could go read the
How
chat,
about
but
this one is just general. But what now I lost it. I scrolled. I lost it. Why did I scroll in the middle of reading it? What are your thoughts on the current state of edge guarding, and what is your philosophy?
My thoughts are that people don't know how to recover yet, so it's
Yeah.
hard to say how good edge guarding is.
Yeah, I think that's going to be something that really comes up in the beta. People are asking us a lot, like, are you going to nerf this or buff this? And we're like, no one's really played the game, so that doesn't make sense to make like.
But watch the Collision
A lot of
VODs
changes.
if you're interested in recovery.
Yes.
So Collision was last weekend, and the big thing I'll
The
say
most
is
recent event.
anytime there's a rivals player, watch their recovery and compare it to anytime there's like a melee PM or ultimate player who got far in bracket. And almost across the board, the rivals players have better recoveries, and that's because a lot of the character specific stuff still works, right? So like Rano's recovery is going to look a little linear and a little gimped until you start using the bubble as part of your recovery, using the tongue sling, even just using bubble stalls with like down air and things like that. So I would say, yeah, look at someone like MSB on Crag just to see like all the ways Crag can get back. There's a lot going on with the recovery game. And then in terms of edge guarding, it reminds me of Rivals 1. It's like if I'm playing a Zetterburn who's even like I said, 10% better than me, and all of a sudden I'm just getting killed off stage left and right. And if I'm playing a Zetterburn who I'm better than, then they're not touching me off stage, especially, if I'm playing a character that I'm familiar with. So yeah, it's really skill based. There is reward to the risk, but yeah, we're gonna need like the meta to develop and for there to be tournaments for people to have a strong say on like how free or how hard it is to get back to stage.
Mhm.
Yeah, we really want people to give us feedback after they played. So it's just more useful to everyone. But hopefully that'll be. We're still looking at Q2, which is April, May, June. Beta sometime.
Yeah.
Q2. Woo!
Q2, woo. Okay, one more lucky question, and then we're going to sign off for today. You guys, please feel free to ask any questions on the YouTube VOD. We'll make it public. Let me see something, good. What do you want, Dan? You want like a softball? You want like a hard ball?
Give me the hardest question you saw.
The hardest question I saw.
Mm-hmm. The hardest question is, why aren't there more Sunny videos on your Twitter?
Someone asked us when we were commentating the tournament last weekend, like why their wife was leaving them. That was the hardest question I saw.
My first follow-up would be, how many years have you been playing Rivals for? And then my second one would be, that's not long enough. If you were number one in the world, I think the relationship would be great. That's how I think. Maybe not, actually. Maybe top 10, but maybe not number one. That's what I would say.
I'm looking for a good one. There's multiple good ones. Here's a good general one that kind of leads into a lot of other people's questions. It's just generic. It's a medium ball. How quickly do you think you'll get stuff out for the game itself that wasn't unlocked to be at launch, like in the Kickstarter and in the final game, like other modes, other stuff like that?
It's a great question.
It
So
just comes up a lot. So
yes, we are aware that I think overall in the project, when it comes to Rivals 2, like with our team and what we want to do, we definitely bit off more than we could chew. So now we're like adapting our team to be able to achieve, like the core goals. So like every project, has design pillars, right? Where it's like, what is the most important things? And like the first design pillar on Rivals 2 is like the best 1v1 platform fighter on the market. Um, and then the pillars go down, and like each pillar kind of becomes less important from there. One of them is, we want to have some of the best netcode on the market. So that's part of why we went this path into server-based multiplayer, SnapNet, etc. So one of the things is obviously like at our size, like just getting even like servers being a completely different infrastructure from peer to peer, just getting that stuff online. And as you see in the betas, we're going to be needing to do a lot of testing, working out a lot of bugs. So some of these features that we wanted to get in are likely, I would say, all of them are likely to be post launch, but the timing is going to be varied. So right now in our design doc, we have kind of like a post launch tracker, and we have it two different lists. There's one list where it's like, how important are these features to the game, right? So something like ranked mode, if that's post launch, then that's very important, high up on the list. Something like we talked about, we want to do workshop, right? Like we'd love to do workshop support for this game. That's also very important in terms of like what rivals of Aether, how that was successful. But then the second list is how feasible is it? Like what's the expected release order? So again, going back to ranked should be near the top of that again. Like we need to get ranked out quickly. If it's not there at launch, then it needs to get online quickly because there's everyone who's playing this is going to want, competitive matches, and ranked can facilitate that. But workshop, on the other hand, is not at the top of the release list in terms of timing because that is a ginormous feature that is going to take a lot of time. So to answer that, like I think some things we definitely want, we're talking months, right? Not years. Something like workshop could be, years, not months, but something like ranked needs to be months in our mind. And then the other thing too is we also know, just from how we've been doing development so far, just like tournaments and even, getting ourselves prepped for different, server tests and things like that. An ongoing game is crazy. It's a lot of work. We experienced that on Rivals. Like, how hard was it how much longer it took me, even personally, to get Edalus in the game when he came out after early access launch compared to Absa, who I was developing. It was basically like triple the time on that character. It was, I think, 6 months versus 2 months, right? It took me to do characters at that point. So like just having a live game is going to make everything a lot harder, and we're not, you know, going to pretend like that's not going to happen. So there are a lot of things that we've set up, like, skins and things like that. We're trying to design it so we'll have a set schedule going into the first year. So there will be stuff coming out regardless, right? Because every development's done in parallel. But some of the big features, yeah, they might take time. We're going to try to get the most important ones out, but everything else, yeah, we'll probably be talking to people. We'll know what people want. I think there's also going to be a lot of quality of life features that we're going to have to do. So both Trevor and Joe on our team, who Joe does a lot of the menu work now, I'm sure when the game comes out, people are like, "Hey, I want this other stick sensitivity thing, or these other options, or the game does this on my computer." And we know that's going to be a lot of work too. So I would expect, at launch, it's not going to have everything that we put in the Kickstarter stretch goals that we didn't hit. But it's not going to, yeah, it's not going to be too long for the important stuff.
Yeah. And I think if the game, obviously if our core is there, which is why we're like spending so much time on that, like you can always play a game like this. So if that's fun, it'll give us legs to stand on and then keep adding stuff. Cause yeah, we want to work on this game for a long time. So that's the plan. All right. Thank you everyone for joining the stream today, and thank you Dan and Trevor for your precious time to answer some of the deep questions from actually making a character as the people who do that. Yeah, if you guys have any burning questions, I'll try to answer them in the YouTube video if you leave them as a comment or somewhere else, but I think that's all we're going to answer today. So, yes, have a good day, and we're going to see you all later. Bye.
Bye.